Bitches, welcome to episode 186 of C3 Crystals, Cauldrons, and Cocktails. I'm River Kane, and welcome. I am welcoming you to this deliciously chaotic episode where magic is messy, the cocktails are strong, and the history is honestly wilder than anything TikTok witches are doing. So today, my loves, we are diving into a topic that made me stare at my research and whisper, y'all, there is no way this is real. But oh, it is. Also, I have to tell you, when I went up to Helen last weekend and got my cute little bat tattoos, there is a lovely witchy shop called the Village Witch. It's right on Main Street. It's in a little tiny corner. You might miss it if you don't look for it. I highly, highly, highly recommend. The website is helenvillagewitch.com, so go check it out. And if you happen to be in Helen, go check it out physically. I had great conversations with the witch there, and her shop is to die for. I got three more tarot card sets. I got some books. I got art. You name it, I got it. I'm just upset my husband didn't want me to buy more than I did. So, yeah, go check them out for sure. Okay, so today we're talking about axe witches of Europe. Yes, witches with axes. Not metaphorical, not symbolic, actual, literal, Gertrude will swing if provoked axes. And before we get into the wood splitting magic, let's prepare our potion of the episode. Because if we're covering witches who chopped clouds in half like we're doing a celestial hibachi, we all need a drink. So I call this one the Battle Axe Brew. And it involves bourbon, which is not my favorite. So I had my husband taste test it. And he liked it. It's different. He's not a big fan of ginger beer, but let me get to that. Okay, so grab your chalices. Today's cocktail is strong, smoky, and just a smidge dangerous, kind of like the women we're about to talk about. So I call it Battle Axe Brew. You have 2 ounces of bourbon. You have an ounce of spiced honey syrup. I told you I'm into that lately. A half ounce of fresh lemon juice, 2 dashes of orange bitters. If you don't like bitters like my husband, you can just add some orange juice and a splash of ginger beer, and then smoked cinnamon stick for garnish, which is the coolest thing. You can also add blackberry if you want to pretend like you've been foraging. Okay, so add the bourbon, the honey syrup, the lemon, the bitters, and shake in a shaker with ice. Shake until the ghosts applaud, absolutely. Pour over fresh ice in a rocks glass. Add a splash of ginger beer for that storm magic crackle, and light the end of a cinnamon stick, blow it out, and then drop it in for smoky drama. I love this. It smells like a forest witch and a bartender had a love child. 10 out of 10. Very axe witch approved. But maybe you shouldn't swing an axe after drinking that. Okay, who were the axe witches? So let's set the scene. These witches weren't the broom riding, pointy hat girlies everyone thinks about. These were the forest witches, hedge witches, wise women, folk healers, and the occasional chaos bringer who lived out in the woods where everything is damp and judgmental. And what did they have? Wood, iron, axes, and the ability to terrify a priest just by waking up in the morning. Axes were everywhere in rural Europe. And because witches have always been queens of use what you have, they turned axes into magical tools. Protection? Axe. Healing? Axe. Weather control? Axe. Scaring a nosy neighbor? Oh, witches. Axe. Iron was believed to scare off spirits, demons, fae, nightmares, gossiping neighbors, you name it. And honestly, axes were the medieval all-purpose witch tool. Swiss Army knife? Oh no, Swiss Army axe. So, the first thing that they used to do, and this was fascinating to me, is weather magic and storm chopping. Never have I come across this before. So, this is where things kind of go off the rails delightfully fast. Across Scandinavia, Germany, Latvia, Estonia, Poland, witches were known for weather magic, and their favorite sky manipulating tool, you guessed it, the axe. So they did cutting the cloud rituals. A storm is approaching, the villagers are panicked, the crops are at risk. So the local witch strolls out with her apron, her attitude, and her axe, and she stands at the edge of the field, and she raises the axe to the heavens, and she swings, symbolically slicing that storm in half. And people swore that it worked. There are dozens of stories of witches who, quote, cut storms. They redirected hail. They chopped lightning in half like it was a rowdy toddler. Imagine being so powerful that you treat the weather like it's misbehaving. Storm, not today. Whack. Axe in the ground rituals. So if the witch didn't want to risk shoulder pain, she'd jam that axe blade first into the dirt to pin that storm to the earth. And that is some straight up WWE energy for sure. I mean, I have trouble getting my Wi-Fi to behave, and these women were out there negotiating with thunder. I mean, honestly, my Wi-Fi has attitude issues, and these storms had respect. Axe healing. Yes, really. So let's get into this healing, because nothing says trust the process like someone approaching your sickbed with a giant axe, right? So healing fevers. The witch would lay an iron axe across the patient's chest. Iron was said to cut the fever, symbolically slicing through the sickness. I know it sounds very dramatic, but so was being alive in the 1300s, so there you have it. They also used axes to remove the evil eye. Sometimes the witch would circle the person and the axe with the axe 3 times. Sometimes she'd tap the axe on the floor, and sometimes she'd put it under your bed. Imagine going to urgent care and being like, yeah, I got a fever, and the doctor pulls out a Home Depot axe. That would be a little frightening. Axes for baby protection. Okay, this sounds adorable and a little terrifying. Axes under the cradle, axes in the doorway, axes under mama's bed during childbirth. I mean, remember that iron protected against fairies, demons, wandering spirits, nightmares, angry ancestors, nosy neighbors, and that one aunt that has opinions. So babies had more warding than half the kings in England, and honestly, they should. Next, there was property and spirit protection using axes. Witches also used axes to protect their homesteads. Put an axe over the doorway, boom, no evil spirits. Put an axe under the threshold, boom, fairies won't steal your stuff or your babies. You could mark land boundaries with an axe. You could seal a curse with an axe. You could break a curse with an axe. Axes really were the Swiss Army knife of witchcraft. This was the medieval equivalent of saying no soliciting unless you're bringing wine sign. I mean, honestly, same energy. Fertility and harvest magic. So, yes, witches used axes in farm and field rituals too. You could bury an axe at the edge of the crops, swing an axe over the soil, place one in the barn for livestock protection. Axes represented strength, cutting obstacles, and masculine energy for agricultural fertility. I'm just trying to think what kind of fertility, the other kind of fertility axes might be used for. I don't know. Didn't find anything on that. Next, there were sacred and pagan uses of the axe. In Norse and Baltic traditions, axes were ritually sacred. They were used for consecrating spaces. They were used for offerings, oath making, animal sacrifice, protection rites, blessing fires. And here's a spicy one. People who took oaths on an axe, if you broke that oath, the axe spirit would, quote, cut your luck. I mean, listen, if an axe spirit says it's taking my luck, I'm going to behave, at least for a week. Okay, witches who fought back. This one's my favorite part. So during the witch hunt, some accused witches literally grabbed their axes and defended themselves. There were actual trial records of witches chasing inquisitors with their axes, protecting livestock, guarding sacred groves, and telling church officials to try them if they dare. Some of the women were not there to play. They were giving that FAFO vibe back then. I mean, honestly, I think I would have thrived back there, or I might be a menace. Okay, so what about modern axe magic? Axe magic is making a comeback. Witches today use little mini ritual axes. How adorable is that? Axe talismans, bone-handled axes, altar axes. Also, you may have noticed axe throwing is making a comeback. Bars and axes. Not a great business plan, if you ask me, but hey, I'm there for it. Oh, and don't forget symbolic cord cutting with little tiny axes. It's big in Slavic witchcraft, Norse paganism, Baltic folk traditions, modern chaos witchery, and of course, Etsy witches have bedazzled axes now, for sure. The ancestors are confused, but supportive. So let's look at what some modern axe witchery might look like. Okay, forget the scissors, forget knives. Let's do a mini axe ritual for cord cutting, but more dramatic. So if you really want to cut an energetic cord, give yourself a tiny ritual axe. Hold that sucker in the air like you're about to defend your honor on a Viking longship, and then swoosh, cord gone, trauma severed, X is banished. But please don't accidentally decapitate your house plants. They did not choose violence today. Axe candle snuffer. Okay, hear me out. Use a mini axe to snuff out your candles at the end of your spell work. The symbolism, it's like you're declaring this ritual is done. The energy is cut. I said what I said. This is the witch equivalent of slamming a mic on the ground after a karaoke performance. Mic drop. Altar knife? Nope. Let's do ritual axe for food magic. If you're doing kitchen magic and you use that little tiny axe to chop herbs, is it practical? Absolutely not. Is it aesthetic? Oh, witches. It's peak chaos. Someone in my ancestry is probably watching me going, is this really what we died for? Axe charges. Charging spells with iron and impact. Take a small axe, tap the top of the spell jar or the talisman 3 times. There's that power of 3 thing. Iron amplifies protection. The impact adds intention. And the sound is so satisfying. That's very cool. You can draw sigils in the air with your axe. Use that blunt end of your little mini axe to draw sigils in the air. No fire needed, no smoke alarms going off. Your cat will be happy. No news headlines that say local witch attempts airborne pyro sigil. It's a good thing. Chop away spell for bad habits. I think this one's very clever, honestly, and fun. Write your bad habit, procrastination, self-doubt, texting your ex, whatever, on a stick. And then use your axe to split it. Boom, energetic severing. I think that is the coolest thing. And then, like I had said earlier, use axes over a threshold, just like they did back in the day. Place a decorative axe at the entrance of your house. Bless it to guard the threshold, cut negativity, and intimidate weird neighbors. It's like a supernatural security system. You can hang a miniature decorative axe over your front door. Make it witchy, make it cute, make it terrifying. Your Amazon delivery guy will develop character. And this is how you become that mysterious witch of the cul-de-sac. Congrats. Lunar axe charging. Charge your axe under a specific moon phase to assign it a job. The full moon would be for protection. The new moon would be for shadow work. The dark moon is for banishment. The waning moon is for cutting ties, and the waxing moon is for motivation and growth. Don't charge it during Mercury retrograde, though, unless you want your axe to accidentally break your own boundaries out of spite. And I believe we are in Mercury retrograde right now. So think twice about how you use your moon power with your axes. Axe point fire scrying. And then, of course, because I love fire and I'm a little bit of a fire witch, I like this one. Hold the blunt side toward a candle flame and scry in the metallic reflection. That slightly distorted mirror effect, it's perfect for spirit messages or seeing your future self judging your current decisions, which I'm sure she does all the time. Foreshadowing, right? Graveyard dirt and axe handle protection charm. You can sprinkle a bit of graveyard dirt inside the cloth wrapping of your ritual axe handle for ancestral protection. It keeps the tools grounded and spiritually anchored, but make sure you ethically source that dirt. because we're witches, not raccoons. We had this discussion, I think, last week about ethically sourcing. Axe bell ritual. Okay, so tap the butt of your axe gently on the floor 3 times, power of 3. And to end a ritual, to start a ritual, it's kind of like ringing that bell, except for it's with an axe. It's with that don't mess with me energy. Honestly, it's iconic. Church bells, who? The witches are here. And of course, you can do shadow work axe rituals with axes. Write a fear or a shadow on paper. Place the paper under the axe blade. Don't chop it, just weigh it down. And that symbolism is like, I see you. I'm not letting you run the show anymore. I'm here with my axe, bitch. So, yes, witches absolutely used axes to heal, to protect, to bless, to curse, to fight, to farm, and to tell thunderstorms to sit down and behave. They weren't the delicate, airy fairy witches. These were those forest witches with calluses and opinions. May we honor them by embracing their chaos, their courage, and their don't fuck with me energy. And as always, boo bitches, stay sharp, stay spooky, and don't swing axes while drinking the battle axe brew. I'm begging you, please. Although, no promises. I hope you enjoyed this episode. You can find out more about us on our website, www.c3witchypodcast.com. There you can find our episodes, our merch. I am working on Yule merch, although I think it may be too late to have it delivered in time for Yule. But I'm going to hopefully have some posted before this episode comes out. You can find newsletters there when we're not woefully behind like we are right now. Links to support us, which would be lovely, through Buzzsprout or Patreon. Patrons get little extra goodies when they join our little coven, like Sabbath planners, to-do lists, coloring pages, and more. Follow us on TikTok. I'm working really hard on that particular social media platform. I am up to 3,700 followers, so woo! Follow me there, repost my content. That would be lovely. And also, since Yule is coming, check out my witchy store on Etsy. It's www.batsandbaubles.etsy.com. You may find some fun Yule gifts there for your loved ones or for yourself. Hey, no judgment. We'll be back. And until then, stay witchy.